Hey guys, it's Bia here, and today we're back with another YouTube video. So it's been a while and I am very sorry there's been a lot of problems, but I am going to start making videos once again. So I decided to start out by doing a video on how to do artist research. So the first tip I'm going to give you is that if you have not been given the artist that you should be looking into, so what I suggest you do is you go online, you get I'm pretty sure you have a topic that you are researching into. For example, if you were doing textiles, if you're looking into like using new technology to develop your designs, you could search online like laser cutting, using how do I say it, like using 3D printers and all that. And then you would probably get come across Iris van Herpen, and so then you, according to what you want to research into, for example, if it's Iris van Herpen, she has different collections, and then the one that stands out to you the most, you can use that as your inspiration. And then you can look into, this is the next thing you need to do, you need to look into why did the artist do that, what's their inspiration, why have they decided to use the materials they use, and also you need to explore the techniques that they explore themselves and try to copy them in a way. Not actually copy everything they do, but just copy maybe the methods that they use. Also, if you are not, for example, I'm just using textiles as an example, but you can, if you're doing graphics, if you're doing art, if you're doing fine art, if you're doing other things, it will work. Even photography, just search up something to do with the topic you're studying. It can be anything, and then obviously put your field of study. So it could be nature and photography, it could be nature and graphic design, it can be statues and art. See what I mean? It can be Greek mythology, it can be anything. Just search up those two on Google, and you should start by having some ideas. You can even just go on Pinterest and search the same thing, and then if there's any images that inspire you, you can start creating a board, and then you can use this later on. Second thing, as I said, once you start finding the artist, it might be one, it might be three, you need to start collecting images that inspire you. It be the texture, I'm just talking in a textiles perspective, it can be the texture, it can be the materials, it can be something that you're just so curious about that you've never seen before, and this will then help you to develop your own ideas and your own practice in the future. Remember, this is one tip that's very important as part of 2, is that it's better to start off with more pictures and more images in the beginning than later on, than having a small amount. This is because if you have a lot in the beginning, you can always shrink it down to something that is a bit more focused. But if you start out with only a few images, then later on you might run out of things to use as inspiration. So if you start, for example, with 30 images, that would be a good idea. Some of them might be like, you might put more importance on, some others you might not like as much, but it doesn't matter as long as you have a big collection. And you can be 30, it can be more, but don't make it too many pictures, like 50 pictures. I think it gets to the point where it's a bit too many. But if you only had like 10 pictures, maybe it might not be enough. So just trying to have a balance and trying to have a range of things, so later on you won't get stuck. Because the biggest mistake you'll make is that when you're halfway through your journey of your project, you stop having inspiration, you're gonna start despising the project, and you're gonna start having questions as to whether you're really inspired and whether you really want to do this anymore. And it's really like, it's a bad thing, because after doing so much work, you don't want to go back and start over again. It's literally the worst thing you can do, because you waste all your time and you're gonna become stressed out. Number 3, so after you've collected these images and you have your artists, you have to go into the deeper meanings, and this is what will give you more marks and a higher grade is when you delve deeper and you stop just doing surface work. So getting the images is more like the superficial things, but when you start delving deeper into the meanings of why the artists do their own work in the way they do it, is when you're gonna start gathering marks. So, for example, the artist might do something because of a mood, because of a certain place or a feeling, and then you can later on do this in your own work. So if the artist was using, I don't know, anger, like deep, I don't know, or trauma or sadness, this is a bit extreme, but if they're just using sadness as, actually, let's make it good, let's make it better. If they're using happiness, you can then maybe go ask people, what does happiness mean to them? So the artist is representing happiness is in one way. Maybe it might be in the colors, in the locations, or in the anything that in the way that they do their work. You can then go and ask other people, or you can just look within yourself. That's two options you have. You go within yourself and you ask, what is happiness to me? What does it mean to me? Is it what makes me feel happy? How can I demonstrate happiness within my work? Or you can ask other people, and this is you involving the community and involving the people out like around you. And it's also something that the examiners will really like, because you will be able to show that you're not just working on your own, you're also involving other people in your practice, and it shows that you are taking your work to the next level. Because when you're just an artist doing things for yourself, you won't have as much impact in other people. But when you start involving others and sharing and making other people think, that is really good art. That's why when you go into galleries, for example, and you don't understand, sometimes, a lot of times, you don't understand what the art is about, but good art will make you think about it. If it's easy, it's not as good, basically. So when you make your work, you want to make people think deeper about certain topics. You don't want to make it easy for them, okay? So if you gather other people's, for example, if you gather other people's way of seeing happiness, you can you can collect it all. Maybe a group of friends, maybe a whole year group, maybe just, I don't know, a collection of like 30 people. They write their opinions, they write their beliefs, like how they feel, whatever, and then you can gather this on later and you can use this later on. Maybe the words can be used the way they described it. You should also look into whether the artist was doing their work as part of a movement or as part of trying to propose a new idea out to the world. So if they're, for example, if it was about plastic, they could be trying to promote an idea of making people more aware of their use of plastic and trying to change their habits or reflect on their habits to make them feel bad about what they're doing. Number 4 is for you to think. So this is the part where you start going even deeper. So you've already thought about what the topic means to you, how does the artist's feelings and the way they show their work to others relate to you. Now is the time when you start doing experiments. So you look at their techniques, maybe if it's in the way they are painting or in the, so this is, for example, in fine art, you can look in the techniques that they're using. Is it with the brushes, the tools that they use, or the colors? Is it some textures that they're using, something that you've never tried before? This is the time for you to test it out on your work and to experiment even more. So maybe they developed one way of doing it, maybe you can try doing the same thing they did in the way they did it, and like 10 other variations of the same thing, and maybe you just came up with something completely new that no one has ever seen before. You can try and use the same materials as them, same colors, in the same way, and then after you do the same way as they did for a piece of work that is yours, you then change it up a bit, mix it up, add other things on it, take some things away, maybe different colors, just keep an aspect of the artist but make it your own. The 5th thing you're going to do, if you can do it, is in a way you can do it. So make sure that you not only research the artist on Google, you also research it on YouTube. This is very important because sometimes they make videos of their work, they make behind the scenes, they make like videos advertising, so you should go and check it out. And another thing which is even more beneficial to you and even more important is for you to go out and try and see if they have any work that you can see in person. So if it's an artist, are they currently showing in a gallery? Is there any way you can see the work in real life in front of you? Is there a way in which you can get involved in anything to do with that artist? Is there any way you can visit, for example, if you're doing fashion, if it's something to do with a collection, is there a way for you to go to the store and actually go and look at it yourself? Or is there like an exhibition of the items from that designer? So you should go and try and do this yourself. This is so beneficial because barely anyone does this and goes out and does deeper research into these things and goes and sees it in person. Because when you do all this research, this is the same thing as when you're taking images. You can take everything from Google, but other people have seen it before. If you take images for yourself, so if it was nature, if you go out and you actually take pictures of it yourself, you draw it from live yourself, it's always going to be way better because it's unique and it's only made by you, and it shows that you've put more effort than others, and this is going to give you more points, and this is going to benefit your work so much more because you get even more involved in it and you become more passionate about it. So yeah, is there anything else I want to tell you? No. So this was a very quick video. I hope it helped. So don't forget, first step is when you go out, you find the artists, you search it up on Google, do general research. Step 2 is when you start going and finding out pictures, collecting, making a whole no, you don't have to do a mood board straight away, but you can kind of collect images on your laptop and download them and keep them, or do it on Pinterest. Number 3, you start focusing on the details and you go deeper. So thinking about emotions, reasons why the artist did that, and how does this relate to you and your project. Number 4 is when you start doing experiments with the artist's techniques and the way they think and the way they do things. And number 5 is more like a tip that you start with at the beginning, but I'm adding it at the end because it's the most important thing. You leave always the best things for last, is when you go out and do things for yourself and don't rely only on the internet. Go and see them in person because it makes your work way better. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and it was useful. It was a very quick one. Sometimes I feel like I do very long videos, so I don't want to bore you guys. Don't forget to subscribe because more tips are coming soon for GCSE and A-level, because lately I haven't been doing anything for uni. If you guys want, I can do a portfolio video and I can explain to you how I got into uni and how everything worked. So yeah, but I have lots and lots of tips for GCSE and A-levels and how to get the highest grades possible. And as you guys can see, there's videos in my channel of my books and all my all my sketchbooks and boards and everything. So if there's any questions you have, you can go see them there, or you can just ask me in the comments and I will help you out as much as I can. So yeah, subscribe, leave a like, a comment, and I'll see you later. Bye!